Bearcat Bounce podcast, back at it again. Happy Monday, guys. Happy summer, if you will. Happy 4th of July week. Happy Monday following another successful off-season week of tracking the power of the football program, the strength of the basketball program, and every other sports program that exists underneath the Bearcat umbrella. Another week as well where we continue to open up and expand everything that is the collegiate landscape in today's day and age in 2024. And then, of course, it's a Monday where the culmination of the 2023-2024 collegiate sport athletic calendar officially done means we're going to have a special guest. Means we're going to wrap things up and look forward to the future. Means we're going to touch on a variety of topics and give you a nice, great episode to lead into your 4th of July travel. And it's also going to be a Monday where I bring on the guys, the pals, the crew. We've got a full house tonight. Full house. Everyone's here. Everyone's ready. And so without further ado, it's going to be Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer, and then, of course, the University of Cincinnati Director of Athletics, John Cunningham. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing great. Getting ready for 4th of July weekend. I think we're going to a pool party on the 4th. I am in charge of one side. I have been tasked with macaroni and cheese. So gonna get planning on a little good cookout macaroni and cheese and spend some time with the daughter and her friends.
Not the Texas shotgun shells that you have been famed for recently?
I mean, we will see. If I'm at the store and I feel like, making some Texas shotgun shells, I might pick that up as well.
Okay. I mean, two sides is not a bad thing.
Well, it's a side and an appetizer, right? Like, so that's
right.
That's two different things.
Yeah. Tickles everyone's fancy. Fantastic. I agree. Aaron, 4th of July plans. Let's hear. Athens will not hold you down. You had a bit of a power surge, but you're back full power right now. Look good.
Right, for now, we'll see. No, we're gonna catch some fireworks around here. There's some going on in Athens. Not the easiest thing to do with a 1-month-old, so we'll see how that goes. And hoping that the 2-year-old can just be quiet enough for it to be enjoyable for everybody. But we'll see.
Better slap some weapons grade headphones on that newborn, Aaron.
Yeah. Get that lullaby early.
We'll be in the parking lot in the car with everything happening, so it'll be all right.
Air conditioning, no mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Maybe music
Veteran
floating
move
with the fireworks as well. Yeah, very smart move. Royer, you seem like a lake house on the 4th of July weekend kind of guy. Where'd you
get that from?
You know what? I have no idea. Just
look at you. You are a lake house guy if there ever was a lake house guy.
Yeah.
Let's just say there's going to be some beer. There's going to be some lake water. There's going to be some boats. Yeah, I'm going up to Lake Erie. Girlfriend's got a lake house up there. So a couple of her friends, her brother's friends. Should be fun. Always a good time up at good old Put-in Bay. It's kind of right by Put-in Bay. It's called Marblehead. I don't think we're going out to Put-in Bay, though, but it should be fun. I'm excited for it.
There we go.
Put-in Bay is more of a single excursion, right? Like, that's not a...
Oh, there's plenty of fun. There's plenty of fun if you got even if you are coupled up. But I mean, I could see why that would be more of a single experience. It's just degenerate drinking, which doesn't always go the best of ways if you're in a relationship. I tend to learn.
No, it does not.
You wanted to put it on the record that you will not be going to Put-in Bay this
no, so don't flock to Put-in Bay to come meet up with me. I know everyone would be wanting to do that, but I won't be there, so don't get your hopes up.
There we go. John, welcome back to the BBP, man. Any big plans this upcoming 4th?
It's good to be with you guys. We'll go to work tomorrow, and then Wednesday at some point during the day, we're going to drive down to Asheville. And so we have a group of neighbors here in Anderson, and this is 4th year now that we've gone on a little mini retreat vacation. So 8 adults, 9 kids, one big Airbnb house, and we'll see how it goes. But the kids will have a blast, and we get them to bed, and then we have a little fun too.
There we go.
Have you guys seen what they're doing in Texas now
What are
with
they doing
with
in Texas?
Airbnbs?
No.
They're making like little towns that like old Western type towns. They're rehabbing these little towns and they're turning them into an Airbnb spot. Like the one I saw on TikTok, there were like 26 people could sleep there comfortably. It had a bar, like a bar, not a bar in a house, but like a bar, like a saloon that you could go to. It had a pool house. It was awesome. I was like, where build one of those around here? I want to go do that.
Yeah.
PCJ staff retreat.
Didn't you know that's part of the new Margaritaville? There's going to be an Airbnb little beach house sector
resort thing. Wow. Well,
I'm lying, but I thought you guys would think that was funny.
Well, I'll tell the truth real quick. I was in Savannah this past weekend, and my sister works for like an Airbnb company and whatnot. They literally are buying out full big condo buildings, and every single unit, instead of it being like a condo, every single unit is an Airbnb. So, I mean, it's blowing up to a different level, and so we'll see. I mean, but a giant Airbnb in Asheville with a bunch of people sounds like a good time. I can't steer wrong with that one. So the thing is this. So there's gonna be a lot of traveling going on this upcoming weekend. A lot of hopping in the car, making sure everyone piles in and heads to whatever location they're going to. The last thing that you want to have happen, knock on wood, if you have it around you, is that a little bit of vehicle issues. So in order to make sure that doesn't happen, you can head over to Danco Transmission and Auto Care and hit up Danco Joe. Joe will hook you up. Get that oil changed before you hit the road. Tell him John Cunningham sent you. Tell him Aaron Smith sent you. Tell him that Ryan Royer, Putin Bay, July 4th, 2024 sent you in. He'll hook you up. $10 off your next oil change. 10% off your next fixing. Danco Transmission Auto Care. Danco Joe, we love you, man. But let's dive into it, guys. Obviously, I want to open up with some difficult news that kind of broke the scene on Friday. Just the obviously with Dante Corleone and the discovery of the blood clots in his lungs, but shouts of course to the UC medical team. Aaron Himmler really quick on the job to make sure that they're all hands on deck and just thoughts, prayers, everything goes out to Dante, his family, and hopeful for a speedy recovery. Obviously, it's a news that kind of shook the Bearcat community a little bit. So wanted to touch on that, obviously, before we completely dive in. And John, it seems like it yet again. Obviously, everyone's kind of just there, support, and hopeful for a speedy recovery.
Yeah, no question. Obviously, at this point in time, football is not the most important thing at all. We want to make sure, like we always do, that we're taking health and safety of our student athletes above all else, and give so much credit to Aaron Himmler and his team, Michelle and everybody associated with that program. Ryan knows them well. I mean, they work extremely hard. Great people, care so much. And then Dr. Devine and just our whole medical staff, you have something like this kind of pop up, some questions, and then you do the full gamut of tests. And if they don't do the full gamut of tests, they may not find this issue. And so I just give them so much credit. And then they find an expert in this space and get him down to that expert, and we're going to go from there. So we're going to take care of Dante, and we've got great people around him and the best medical care that you can possibly provide. And football takes a back seat to that. But then at some point, if football can come back into play, it will, and we'll do it in a safe way. So that's where we are, and such a good kid, represents everything that we're about in terms of being a Cincinnati guy and showing that grit and toughness, and he's had a great attitude throughout this thing.
Yeah, we all love Dante. He's the man. Every time after practice, just always dapping up with those massive hands. That makes you feel small a little bit, but yeah, he's all hopes to that. But speed recovery and everything like that. So, John, I kind of mentioned it on on the intro. This is the culmination officially with the College Baseball World Series filing out last Monday, the culmination of the 2023-2024 athletic calendar across the country. So a big one for Cincinnati in numerous ways. It kind of a year of anew, if you will. When you look back at this 2023-2024 year, it's going to go down in history as one of the more talked about seasons across all sports landscape for UC. What are kind of the main things that you look back as you see such a monumental year, and then obviously going forward?
Yeah, it is. There's some irony in the fact that you talked about the baseball season kind of finishing up here, because I think my favorite moment of the year happened at the very end, which was Josh Hageman hitting a grand slam against Oklahoma. In that it almost seemed like a movie. Never hit a home run in his entire career, and on senior night, he blasts one and felt like The Natural a little bit, that movie, and this absolutely my favorite moment. And that happened toward the end of the year, and so it was just something to celebrate there. But we had a lot of great moments like that, and individual performances across the board, with a championship with Ty Gingrich getting that championship, winning the Big 12 title in men's golf, and then just great performances, really just from so many different people and so many great games, and really, to me, you go all the way back to the fall and you look at competing in soccer, beating a lot of really good teams, winning Big 12 games in women's soccer, women's volleyball, getting out there in men's and women's basketball, competing at a really high level. I'm really proud of what we've done. At the end of the day, we want to compete for championships in the Big 12. And when we do that, we're going to play in the postseason. So in that aspect, we've got to improve. And that's what I talked to our head coaches about recently. And I'll talk to them again about that, which is, we're not ready to take a back seat to anybody. And so I think every program is going to look themselves in the mirror and say, okay, how can I compete for a Big 12 championship? And when I do that, then my team will advance to the postseason, and we're going to do special things in the postseason. So to me, that's the next level that we need to get to. And that's what I'm excited about for 24-25.
23-24 behind us, and 24-25 coming up. Plenty of room for growth, and we're starting to see some of that growth already in the football team, as there's been an entire culture change. This might be the most anticipated basketball season in decades, for both men's basketball and even for women's basketball, for that matter. Baseball obviously ended on a high note. We want to see what baseball is able to continue, as we're starting to see some guys coming into the program from the transfer portal. A lot of things to be excited about as far as growth goes. The IPF is in full swing. What are you most excited about here as we look at the growth of pretty much every program all at once?
Yeah, you stole my term a little bit. I talked to all of my staff members and everybody around our program about grow with us. This is about laying a foundation in the Big 12. It happened a year earlier than we thought we were actually going to be in the Big 12, if you remember that. And so it was a year of laying a foundation in 23-24, and then vaulting forward in 24-25. You talked about football. Everything I see, right? And everything that I see around the program is exactly what you would want to see from a team that came off of a year where they didn't get as many wins as they wanted, which is you gotta circle the wagons. You got to make sure that you've got great team leadership. And I'm seeing that. You've got to build a culture that was different than the one that you had the previous year. And I'm seeing that. You got to have toughness. You got to compete in the off season. And that's what Nico, our strength coach, and Coach Satterfield has been all about this off season, which is about let's get out there and really work them hard and see who's about being gritty and being tough and competing every day. And so all those things are behind the scenes, the things that I see every day, and I want to show everybody and I want to talk about. But at the end of the day, you gotta go out there and compete and perform. When Saturday rolls around, you got to perform. And so, again, I think all the preparations are being made, and now they got to go out and get it done. But you look at our returners, offensive line entirely back, really 2 running backs, but I would say 3 really dynamic running backs, new tight ends in place that we think are really going to do some special things. Defensively, several returners, but really a brand new backfield, and some new pieces in there with transfers and things like that. The people that have proven themselves as they've competed across the country at different schools. So just a lot of excitement in my mind, and I know our football team's going to be ready to go, and our soccer team and our volleyball team and our cross country team is going to be ready to go this fall as well.
As we kind of look a little bit further into football side of things, and obviously this is kind of ties in with everything else, but there's been a lot of kind of football centric NIL type of events and whatnot throughout this past summer and off season. But NIL as a whole, obviously took home the institution of the year this past last weekend when at the NIL Summit is what it was called. Yeah. So obviously we had Eddie Taylor on last week, a big time award, a big time name. What does that mean to you with the university being able to capture and bring home an award like that? That is obviously only the 3rd annual, so it's a brand new type of development, but it seems like Cincinnati is the university that is kind of on a step ahead of everyone when it comes to the innovation and things of that sort.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you had Eddie on. I didn't realize that. He's a dynamic young guy, and really known across the country for the things that he's doing around NIL. But when NIL started, it's some people are calling it the 3-year anniversary. I think it kind of got going about 3 years ago, and I think we really built the model that was right for Cincinnati, which was Eddie and his team in what we call impact, really focused in on the whole student athlete, focused in on opportunities with local businesses, opportunities for teaching our student athletes how to brand themselves, money management, tax issues that come with making money, really focusing on the whole individual. Like, we have a responsibility. We're an educational institution. Let's make these young men and women dynamic. Let's make them professionals in the sense that they understand what it means to have money and what it means to have the responsibility of being a student athlete. And so we put all those things into place. And to me, that's what we were recognized with at this NIL Summit. Obviously, there's another aspect to this, which has been covered a lot by Cincy Reigns, and I know you guys have talked about that. But there's a money-raising aspect to this. We had to stay competitive. We had to give fuel to our coaches to be able to go out and get the very best recruits that we could get. And we needed the help of our donors to be able to do that. And so we've had donors across the board step up, fans step up, and we've really worked hard to kind of build the coffers of our Cincy Reigns collective as well to be able to compete. So it's been a balance, but I think across the board we've really done it the right way. And Cincy Reigns individuals have been fantastic. Just from Brian Fox to Ken Tracy to Chris Miliano to Tracy Tice to everybody associated with Cincy Reigns. I just say a big thank you. We would not be where we are as a program right now without their help.
Along those lines too, we might as well just ask about it. I know upcoming, it's kind of been pumped out a little bit on social media, but the Gala of Games coming up next month, August 17th. Obviously, there was Reds and Reigns. There was numerous different things throughout the summer. What is the Gala of Games? Did you guys see how awesome the New Heights Battle for the Lombardi or whatever they called it, the Lumbaby Games? Do you see how awesome that was? And now you wanted to kind of roll into a little Gala of Games yourself, or what's going into the August 17th event?
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. We need everybody to get tickets to that event, and it's the Red and Black Gala, called the Gala of Games. We've got a great group of people that are working on this and putting it on, professionals that have done a lot of these events around the city of Cincinnati. And so it's going to be really fun. If people remember, maybe it was 2 years ago, a year and a half ago or so, we did a similar auction style gathering that was, wear your best Bearcat gear, and it was really fun, great food, great entertainment. And I think people remember that red and black night from about a year and a half ago. That's going to be what this is all about. It's going to be a celebration of who we are as Bearcats, but it's going to be a celebration of the upcoming season. Coaches are going to be involved. Student athletes are going to be involved. We're just going to have a lot of fun. We're going to celebrate here at the end of the summer, right before the start of the season. So that's that August 17th event. Get your tickets, Red and Black Gala. Should be a lot of fun. Fundraising toward Cincy Reigns. Again, I think we're doing some really cool events. Like you said, Reigns and Reds is really neat. Obviously, the Kelsey event, there's going to be plenty of Cincy Light served there as well. And it'll be a good night. So please come out and be a part of it, and wear your red and black and support the Bearcats.
Nothing
Talk
like
to me about-
Baby games. Not sure. Go ahead.
Talk to me about facilities, John. How's that? Thank you, by the way, Connor, for the donation. How's the new IPF going? When's the next Hard Hat Wednesday? And also, we're celebrating 100 years for Nippert Stadium this year, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, I give a lot of. I'll start with that because Ben Hofstetter and Zach Stipe and Anthony DeFino on our external team really put together a really cool plan of attack on what we're going to look at this year. And it's going to be a celebration of 100 years of naming Nippert Stadium. So 100 years of that famous story of Jimmy Nippert, the history behind that, how it came to be, how this prominent Cincinnati family donated this money to build a football stadium and really have it be in the center of campus, so unique to us. It just means so much to our community, and that stadium has so much history. So we're going to celebrate it all year. I love the artwork behind it. I love the theme behind it. It's got a really cool nostalgic feel to it. So that's going to be a lot of fun to tell that story again. And a lot of people don't know it. And I didn't know aspects of it. So that'll be great. But certainly in terms of other facilities, so that's our 100-year-old facility, but we have some that are just coming online. If you haven't been to campus, I hope you're paying attention to those Hard Hat Wednesdays and seeing this beautiful indoor facility erect from the ground, and then right next to it, obviously the Performance Center, 100,000 square feet, which will be dedicated to our football program across the board. So it'll be strength and training, training room, all of our offices in there, a lounge for our student athletes, really just a place for our football program to live and work and get after being Big 12 champions. And then along with that, we'll have a nutrition center, and Ryan can speak to this as well. We didn't have that. We had a small little room that we still use in the Linder building to feed our student athletes, but we can't house them all at the same time, and we can't do some of the things that we need to do from a nutrition standpoint in this current setup. So we're going to have this beautiful nutrition center for all student athletes, just for student athletes, where they can go and get fueled, and it's going to be really, really special. So that's up and going, on track, on budget, on schedule. Look to move in a little less than a year right now. So I'm very hopeful that we keep moving this thing along, and we'll be meeting next year around this time and doing tours of that facility.
John, if you ever need someone to do a quick taste test on the different types of food that they'll be doing there, just give me a call. I'll be happy to. If a cook goes down, I've been working on my grilling skills lately, being that I stepped out of my athlete days. I got to find new hobbies. So either of those two, if you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be there in a heartbeat.
All right. I like that. It sounds like maybe if we had you cooking, it might be a fire hazard. So I don't know if that's like.
Hey, We can do a chicken parm night. I've been working on the chicken
Okay.
parm. I got it down pretty well.
All
I don't
right.
know if it's the healthiest of options, but I think the guys and the ladies will like it down there.
Okay. All right. Cooking with Ryan. I can see it. I can see it now.
I don't know about a title. We can't get that far yet, but we'll give it a test run.
All right. That'll be fun. We'll have all of you guys over there and check it out and try out the food. So for sure. And that's the other thing is we've talked about, this time next year, trying to use that facility a little bit on game day because it's right there next to the stadium. It feels like an opportunity for us to host donors and host fans in different ways in that new facility on an actual game day. And I think that would be a lot of fun too. So it's going to be because it's so close and we kept that athlete village feel. We didn't move it off of campus. We kept it right there. That's going to allow us to use that facility a lot for a lot of different things. And it actually has, one of the things that we talked about, it actually has some balconies that will overlook the baseball stadium as well. So you can see it being used a little bit on baseball game days as well.
It's crazy how fast it's happening. Like it felt like it was just dirt being moved around for a long time. And then once structures started going up every time, and I'm on campus a couple times a week, it feels like every time you drive past, you're like, man, this thing is flying.
It was shocking. The first time I saw how big it was going to be, it was a shocking moment for me as I turned into work. But you're right. They put up the shell and they put up the framework of the building quickly. I think, and then it slows down a little bit as they kind of build it all out. But you really get to see the shape of it right now when you drive by campus. It's cool to see. It's
massive.
It looks a little bit better than the bubble, just a little bit though.
yeah. I think it's going to be nice in the bubble.
It's essentially the same space.
Yeah.
And it did not look like that big of a space when the indoor practice facility was there.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
It's amazing what they do. Those architects are incredible. They use topography really well and dig into the earth and go down and go up and make it all fit. So what those guys do is incredible.
They don't pay you for that stuff, right, John?
No,
you just
completely flies over my head. I'm lost on all of that, but I put John Daniel in charge of it. He kind of nerds out on some of that stuff and he tries to tell me what's going on. And I kind of just want to, hey, let me know when it's done and I'll walk in. We'll cut a ribbon and we'll go. So,
yeah.
So we have a sellout streak that is still alive and well. Currently we are at 18 straight games that have been sold out. How close are we to selling out the home opener?
Yeah, we're close. We got some work to do, though. I mean, I think we still have single game tickets to sell, and we still have some season tickets to sell as well. So I just had a conversation with Anthony DeFino today about that, and it's important for us to keep that sellout streak alive. And we need people to jump on board. We get it, we understand, when you come off of a year that you don't win as many games as you want to, there can be a little lull. But the fact of the matter is we've got a great group of guys coming back, unbelievable competition coming into Nippert. And, if you just take yourself back to going into that stadium when it's full, it's a fantastic experience. And that's my goal, is to make it more about the fan experience, top to bottom. Make sure that we're taking care of people the best we can with new concessions, new ticketing ideas, new ways of getting people into the stadium, new ways of experiencing Nippert. Last year in the middle of the season, we opened up our student center on the west side of Nippert. So that was actually within the confines of being within the stadium. So you could get Chick-fil-A, you could get different food items in the student center and still be in the stadium, and you could use the restrooms in the student center or get out of the cold or get out of the heat in the student center. So that happened mid-year last year. We're going to continue that this year. So for me, it's all about taking care of our fans. We're going to obsess over our fans and make it a great experience. And I know our football team is doing everything they possibly can to put a great product on the field as well. So I think it's a, A and B type scenario, and we need both. And so we're going to have a great fan experience and have a great football experience as well.
Can't wait to get DeFino on. We have him on every year, and that's always a fun segment.
Give him a bad time, please. He needs it.
Talk about a couple promotions, guys that are very near and dear to our hearts here at Bearcat Journal. You mentioned both of them earlier, Ben Hofstetter and Zach Stipe. Two guys that we really enjoy working with, and obviously excited for the success that they're having in their roles.
They're great across the board. They work really, really hard. I don't know if anybody has more love or passion for the Bearcats than Ben Hofstetter. Just dives into the history, which I love. Like he was the brainchild behind a lot of this Nippert Stadium pitch that we're going to do this year. He was instrumental in Cincy Reigns and Cincy Light. The guy just thinks about problems in a really strategic way. And so had a conversation with him as we face this new dawn of college athletics and all the things that we're going to have to do to really change the way that we go about our business. I really wanted someone that was day in and day out thinking strategically and long-term. And so that was my pitch to Ben. Can you kind of take a step away from some of your other duties and just report directly to me and just start meeting with me on long-term planning and strategy. So when he did that, then that left an opening for Zach. And there's no better person to take over the role of our day-to-day external unit than Zach Stipe. You guys know, you guys work with him. He's just a ball of energy. He's fantastic. He's really respected across the country. I was with Pete Thamel this past week in Austin, and the first thing he wants to bring up is how Zach Stipe. With Gus Johnson, when he came to campus, he wanted to talk about Zach Stipe. So these national names all know him. Obviously working with Florida State football, Tennessee football, and then really kind of just falling into our lap when we needed somebody in the middle of the season a couple years ago. Zach Stipe happened to be living in Cincinnati and wanting an opportunity, and so it just worked out so well. But universally liked around our department and just a great guy.
I know this will come as a surprise, but the two of us butted heads a little bit early, me and Zach.
That makes me like him even more.
Yeah, but now we're great. It just takes a little. I'm not a first impression guy. I'm a long term, and that's not great either sometimes. So
hard to believe you butt heads with someone, Chad. I'd never guess that.
Yeah, I know it's hard to fathom, but
you just go on your Twitter feed. It's just all love, no conflict ever.
Well, now I don't argue as much anymore, Ryan. I just poke at the people that root for the team across town every once in a while. That's all.
Yeah, who doesn't do that?
Right.
I mean, speaking of Zach, because he came in right at the end of my time, just to kind of piggyback on how great of a job he does. Like right when he kind of took over, you just felt an immediate impact, the way he does things, the way he carries himself. Just kind of, he was meant for taking us to that next step, and he was already like had his foot in the door with that when we were still in the American. And I'm sure like the reason why he promoted him, he transitioned us really well into the Big 12 and kind of has everything covered all nicely. So I wanted to give Zach his flowers too, kind of on a player perspective, and it's a well-deserved promotion.
There's no doubt. He's a pro. Pro's pro.
Exactly.
Pro's correct, which is not very professional.
Welcome back, Brent. Welcome back.
Hey now. Hey, pro's pro. Yeah, so I was able to still keep up with you guys. Yeah, shouts, of course, to Ben and Zach. Zach, obviously, they're killing it. No doubt about that. But John, earlier you mentioned the fact that the kind of the introduction in the going into the Big 12 was a year earlier than expected. Kind of what did you see as both the pros and the cons of it having be, obviously one year quicker and kind of having to step up that, year one approach, day one ready approach and things of that sort? What pros and cons now that year one is completely wrapped up?
Honestly, hard to find any cons to it. I think when we made the announcement that we're going to the Big 12, our fans wanted to play Big 12 teams. Our fans didn't want another year of playing American Conference teams, just to be blunt about it. And not that there was anything wrong with that, to use a Seinfeld term, but it was time to move on and test our wares against a Power 5 conference. And so I don't see any downside with it. The other thing that we got was Brett Yormark, who's just incredible as a leader. And our coaches and our staff have just felt the difference of being in the Big 12, their resources, how they approach things, just top notch across the board. So it's been inspiring just to be a part of Brett Yormark's vision. So no real cons with it. Other than we knew that, this is tough, man. This is the real deal. And every night, in every sport, you've got to step up and compete against great competition and great coaches. And we certainly saw that. We expected that. But like I said in kind of my intro, I felt really good about the fact that we didn't back down to anybody. I really, there wasn't one sport really where I felt like we just absolutely just backed down and couldn't handle it. We were right there in soccer, right there in volleyball, and Molly's team coming back is going to be even better. And so there's just a lot of momentum. The other thing it did is it jump-started recruiting. We didn't want to wait on that either. Part of this is you got to recruit into the Big 12 for a couple of years and get your footing underneath you. And that plays itself out. If you look at teams that have done this in the past, TCU, I was at TCU for a while when they're in the Mountain West going into the Big 12. Utah going from the Mountain West into the Pac-12. All those teams, and we've looked at them, have taken kind of a step just in terms of they won a lot of games in the previous conference, and then they didn't win as many for a couple years before they got themselves kind of situated. And so that just happens when you step up. So no problems at all. We're happy to move in quickly and can't wait for next year because I think we just continue to take steps forward and like I said, build with us, right? Let's get it going. Let's go win some Big 12 championships.
I know we were flirting with the idea on a couple of weeks ago when Brett Yormark was bringing up the idea of naming rights to the conference. Have you had any ideas or any suggestions to him on what you might make that naming right to the Big 12 conference to be? I know we talked about all-state conference. We were kind of messing around with that stuff. You ever shot any suggestions to him on what a good new name to the conference would be?
If I ever send suggestions to Brett Yormark, it's not going to be about marketing and sponsorship because that is absolutely his world. So that's not going to be where I put my 2 cents in. I have put my 2 cents in, but not on that stuff. So he just, he's coming from that NBA background. He's coming from originally from a NASCAR background, right? And grew NASCAR and then left to go to the Brooklyn Nets. Moved them to Brooklyn. Actually, was part of that New Jersey to Brooklyn move, and so knows that space and sponsorship space and what it means to maximize your revenues better than anybody that I've been around. So. We're taking his lead. Obviously, he kicks the tires on everything. It kind of, it leaked out a little bit. We didn't want it to necessarily get out there, not because we didn't, not because we weren't proud of looking into it, but just because it wasn't quite the time to do it. But it got out there, and I don't ever blame him for bringing something to the table that's going to generate new revenues because we need to at least look at it and figure out if it's a good fit for our conference or not.
As if there wasn't enough reason to watch the Summer Olympics, Cincinnati has 3 athletes representing the university, really, as they compete to win gold in a net. this name scares me. Eka Konwoke, I believe. And Jordan Thompson and Vanessa Giles. Are you excited about the Olympics, John?
I'm very excited. And you notice I didn't jump in to correct you, although I don't think it was quite right with her last name. But
I'm sure it wasn't.
She's absolutely awesome. She's like Cher. She can just go by one name, Annette. Around Bearcat Nation, she has that kind of status. So, but Annette, she's an unbelievable person. Was on my search committee actually when I got the job. So I've known her since day one, and just a tremendous athlete and a great story of perseverance. If we're going to get a chance to kind of tell this story, but I'll start with her. She was with the Nigerian Olympic team, and they literally failed to do some paperwork that left her off of the team last Olympics in Japan. And just a really sad situation, sad story. So, she could have hung it up at that time and not pursued her Olympic dream. But she decided to pursue it, and she got a job working for Jim Price at Empower, a marketing company here, and was working and then working out with Susan Seaton, our track coach, and others, and decided instead of going back through her previous route through a different country, she was just going to compete for the U.S. or try to compete for the U.S. and she won it. So to have everything on the line and have 3 years. Remember, Japan happened 3 years ago. 3 years of hard work right there, and then have to perform on stage and get that throw to get to Paris, and she did it. I mean, that's just an amazing story. So she is a Bearcat. She's gritty as heck, and that's something to be really proud of. And then obviously Vanessa Giles with Team Canada for women's soccer, they get a chance to win the gold. They'll go up against the U.S., but they won it last time, I believe, or won the World Championships maybe. And then, of course, we probably have the best volleyball player in the world right now in Jordan Thompson, who will be competing for the Team USA. So three great opportunities for us to watch some Summer Olympics in August, and then roll right into our fall season.
What's your favorite Olympic sport to watch, whether it be in summer and winter? Which one kind of draws your eye? You want to kind of make appointment television to outside of the Bearcats that are competing?
I should get my wife in here because my wife Caitlin is obsessed with all things Summer Olympics and Winter Olympics. But I would go. I'm going to go swimming. Yeah, I love watching swimming. Trying to think if there's anything obscure handball. How about handball?
Handball. Okay.
You get a little handball action like late, like 2 a.m. when no one else is watching, and you're watching like two random teams play handball, and you're trying to learn what the sport's all about. That's what I love. I love just the random competition that you get to see during the Olympic Games, and these sports pop up every 4 years. That's always kind of fun. I remember when we had in 2012 is when our twin boys were born in July. And so I remember being up all night. I think that was the London Games, maybe. I could be wrong, but whatever it was, maybe it was China, but it was I remember watching all night long because I was up with the boys anyway. And you're catching Iranian weightlifting at 2 a.m, and you're enthralled, and you're just living and dying by every lift. So that's what I love about the Olympics.
I agree. Wall-to-wall fun. I agree. Let's dive a little bit more into just kind of the whole additional facilities that are kind of growing up. We've mentioned growth a lot, and obviously we touched on the indoor practice facility a lot. Any updates as far as you can say when it comes to the men's and women's basketball locker rooms, and then of course the new golf indoor facility that's going up as well?
Yeah, two other things that we finished last year. Right before the basketball season, we put our men's and women's team into their new locker rooms, locker room and lounge areas. They've been awesome, and they've been absolutely fantastic. It's where our student athletes hang out. We're expanding our basketball training facility across the hall from our locker room facility. So we're working on that right now with Bob Mangine to get that all situated and up and running. And then something that we recently talked about on a coffee with Cunningham was our indoor golf facility in Norwood. But we took an old office building, and we had the father of a former player that owned the building and was redoing it into a beautiful office space. And he had this extra space that had high ceilings, this really large first floor space. And so we turned it into an indoor practice facility with 4 hitting bays and a putting green and a lounge area and study rooms. And it's just been great for our men's and women's golf teams to have a spot that they can work all year on their game. So really proud of those facilities. And next we got to figure out baseball. We got to do some things on the baseball side of things. So working with Jordan and some of our baseball donors on that. And we've got to figure out some of our other sports in terms of their locker facilities in Lindner. Once we move football out of Lindner into the new performance center, we really got to attack the other locker room spaces and make those Big 12 level as well.
Awesome. Well, Aaron, you got anything else? Chad, you want to hop in?
I was gonna say I'm tapped.
Yeah, I just don't like bothering Aaron. Aaron has severe OCD about 5 boxes.
With the 4.
I do. The 4 looks so much better.
I'm sitting here. I just, if I had questions, I would pop in and then I would let you guys roll after that. What happens? Does that locker room facility for the football team, will that be repurposed, or will that be more like a game day locker room for them, the one that's in the Lindner Center?
Yeah, will be a game day locker room facility for them, and something that we'll use in recruiting, and we'll do some different things down there. But certainly, whenever they're playing in Nippert, that's their locker room facility, and so that's what that will be used for.
How does the weight room situation change with football moved out of there into their new performance center? Does it just open up more available time slots for everybody to get in there so there's not as much of a crunch?
Yeah, 100%. Anytime you take football out of the equation, they just operate so differently in terms of how many guys actually are in there, and then obviously the types of lifts that they're doing and the equipment that they use. So anytime, and I've been a part of this exact thing at Minnesota, anytime you can move a football team out of a weight room, that weight room really becomes something really special for all your other student athletes because it's theirs. And, we're going to be able to do some really special things down there. I'll let the mind of Mike Rayfelt work when it comes to that space, which is a huge space, but I'm sure he's got some ideas of maybe putting some new things down there and probably some, places to run and do some different things and push sleds and all kinds of stuff, because it's going to be a massive weight room, obviously, that will be left in the Lindner building.
I ran into my guy Danny Hurley at EYBL Indianapolis a couple weeks back, and he's still mad at me, John. He's still mad at me because Wes, when he first got the job, was polling, kind of, figuring out the best route, the path of action. He said, "Who's the best strength and conditioning basketball coach in the country?" I said, "Mike Rayfelt." He said, "Wasn't he here?" I said, "Yep." "Can I get him back?" That's up to you. I don't know if you can get him back. You asked me who the best in the country was. The easy answer is Mike. And Danny is still mad at me today for putting Wes onto him. But I think it worked out okay for him.
Yeah,
he's doing all right.
Yeah, they're doing okay. But Mike is where he should be in Cincinnati, because he is such a Cincinnati guy, and we love him so much in our department. It's more than just a basketball strength and conditioning coach. He oversees all of our Olympic sports, again, he's kind of a mad scientist when it comes to strength conditioning and how he approaches it and who he hires to handle all of our other sports. And I trust him as a leader in our department, and that's how I think of him as one of our top leaders. So one of the best moves to get him back here in Cincinnati, and it's going to be a lot of fun this year because those guys are going to be really strong, and you're going to see it on the court.
What does one call an upgraded monster factory?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't know. I
think he'll probably stick with Monster Factory.
Monster Factory El Grande or something. I don't know. He's going to go big. He's going to go big, but it is. You go in there, and I swear he's got something new every time I'm down there, and it just has such a cool feel to it when you're down there. It's a place to get to work. But it's a place of a lot of fun and energy, and I like walking down there.
See, let's make a clarification for the people. You say every time you walk in there, that's something new. I think the people interpret that as something he bought, when most of the time it's something Mike just came up with and made himself and figures out how to make it functional.
Yeah, that's what I'd say when I talk about being a mad scientist. You're right. He's taking machines that we already have and repurposing them, or finding a new way to utilize the things that we already have, like force plates, and he's big on tech and I like hearing from people that are passionate about what they do. And there's nobody more passionate about what they do than Mike Rayfelt. And whenever you're around that energy, it's good for everybody.
Let's get him out of here, boys. It was another one of those. You got 30-minute deals, and we're at 51 and a half, 52.
I thought we were going to go all the way till Asheville. I thought that was the plan. Just roll right into the Wednesday trip, man.
Look, John, we'll go 10, 12, 15, however many hours we need to go, we will go.
That was still impressive. I'm so impressed by that. And I still hear from people that talk about that day and how cool it was that they got to hear from everybody. So thank you for doing that. It was really a neat thing. And maybe you can keep doing that every year.
We dubbed it at the beginning, the first annual 513 day marathon. So we're here to do it again every year, and it was really cool to get to hear from kind of every corner of the Lindner Center and talk to so many people. And you could tell by how many of my guys that Dave wasn't even supposed to work the telethon, and he's like, I'm in. Just tell me when I can be there. Tell me when I can talk to people, and I'm there. And we were excited about it, and I've gotten a ton of feedback on it as well. So it was a lot of fun. We appreciate kind of the open door policy we have. Oh, before I let you go, Dan Horde's new podcast.
Yeah.
That's he is the best in the business. There's nobody better than Dan Horde, and getting a chance for him to sit down and have these conversations is awesome for what the university is doing internally.
I'm really excited about that. For sure. And I got to go back and listen to that first one, but I know it's going to be a lot of fun, and he'll bring all the old stories back to life and tell a lot of new ones too. So I'm really excited to listen to it.
You don't get to hear Steve Logan often. He's only ever done two podcasts.
That's true.
Dan Horde and this one.
Steve's great. Wouldn't be a Bearcat basketball game if I didn't find Steve in the crowd and say hello. And he just has so much love for the Bearcats. So I'm excited to listen to that one. I got to go back. That'll be on my list as I drive down
your vacation list.
Asheville. Yeah, my vacation podcast list for sure.
Well, you have a great time in Asheville. Make sure you hit up Biscuit Head.
Safe travels.
Safe travels.
Same to all of you. Yeah.
Well, look, by the time you get back from Asheville, it's almost time to head to higher ground. It's all of a sudden.
I get back and I leave the next day for Vegas for media days.
Big 12, yeah,
Oh,
Big
yeah.
12 media day.
We got Vegas Big 12 media days, which is wild that's coming up on the 8th, 9th, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I always say after media days, that's the start. The summer's over, so feels like it's over before it began. But that's how it goes, and I'm excited about it.
Man,
We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys. You guys all
John,
take care.
thank
Go
you.
Bearcats.
thanks
you.
so much, John.
Go Cats, baby.
Bye.
There you go. UC Athletic Director John Cunningham checking in. I love that he scatters amongst the shows. He's not an elitist. Doesn't have to be on one show or the other. He'll pop in with any of us. And it's always good to get kind of the state of the program for our members as we roll through the summer. And like I said, get through the 4th of July. All of a sudden, it's you're packing up and heading out to West Lafayette, Indiana, to spend a couple of weeks getting ready for the season. It's getting
West
close.
Lafayette, not West Lafayette.
They're not West Harrison.
Harrison.
sorry.
West Harrison.
West
I was
Harrison.
gonna
That's
say.
my
I was
bad.
gonna say, are they going to Purdue's campus for a little
Yeah,
little
they are.
workout?
They're going to
I-
Purdue's campus.
There we go.
I loved his humble flex
bad.
at the end. I'm coming back from vacation and I gotta go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Just-
Right. Well,
I'm sending Keegan.
yeah. Well, that's probably the safest send out there, to be honest with
That's
you.
because you can stay at you can stay at the Excalibur for like $59 a night.
Well, that
You
and then
can't rent a
also,
car though.
you can't worry too much about what's
You don't have to
what's
rent a
Keegan
car.
going to get into wearing BCJ apparel out there in Vegas. Like if you were sending
Yeah.
like myself or Aaron or Ryan or Dave, or even you,
Dave.
yeah,
I mean, I would get myself into trouble. I just wouldn't have any logo on.
I'd probably hit you up and be like, hey, the room. I no longer can go back to the room. If you need to send out a signal, just try and find me because it's been a rough couple of days. But no, I a lot of it goes into the fact that, like, listen, we just said Vegas for the Big 12 meetings. Like, it's just wild to hear that. And John kind of touched on it a little bit, and I wanted to say, it's a lot more fun seeing the home opponents and the road opponents for the basketball schedule rather than seeing like, oh, ECU comes to town and we have to travel to Greenville, rough. It's just that side of things is just the excitement from a fan perspective that really goes into it. So, gosh, year one in the books, man. That was a Big 12 fully engulfed. Bearcats are here, man. So should we timestamp this and then probably riff with Royer and then keep the show rolling?
I mean, I guess we can.
I mean, unless John's going to pop back in. And by the way, John's so completely right with the whole, waking up in the middle of the night or, kind of staying up really late and seeing some random Olympic sport on. Like I remember I was in Dayton one time, just, and I had a little bit too much fun and fell asleep, woke up at this frat house, and it was the US versus Spain at the China Olympics. And it's like, oh wow, this is just now starting, and there's a huge crowd there watching it. So it's like, wow, this is fantastic. So I'm all in on the Olympics. Take it away, Chad.
Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly, low minimum next day deliveries. They provide a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom, baby. Now, if this weekend, if you want to enjoy a little nightcap, we call it a little brown. Are you guys enjoying it? A little 3-finger pour. You might want to get yourself a little bit of the
3-finger pour.
Are you talking though? Okay, I see you, boy. But yes, if you want to probably try a little new riff bourbon this upcoming weekend. Chad, take that away.
Fiercely independent, unabashedly innovative. New Riff produces award-winning bourbon, rye whiskey, and gin at their distillery in Newport, Kentucky. The Aquafire Tasting Room, located on the 3rd floor of the distillery, features cocktails, flights and pours of New Riff's entire line of spirits, including rare, limited edition, and distillery exclusive releases. Bearcat Journal listeners can save 50% on a distillery tour when you use the code Bearcats24. For more information or to book a tour, visit newriffdistilling.com.
A full day of downing, tasty Cincy lights, and you end it with a little New Riff. That's a good 4th of July right there, I'd say.
I don't mix.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it.
You don't mix?
Nope. If I'm drinking
just
beer,
make sure.
Beer. If I'm drinking bourbon, I drink bourbon. I don't mix.
Just make sure if you're doing the fireworks, make sure you finish your bottle of New Riff before you start them. All right. You don't want to come back with all 10 fingers. That's the goal.
We don't want any JP
Royer
here. Come on now.
Royer, by the way, forgot to inform you. According to YouTube's new terms of service, there's no more F-bombs allowed.
Oh, you're telling me? You're telling Aaron?
Everybody.
Aaron
and I have already discussed it. I haven't discussed you. Yeah,
I think I've been.
They will take your money away if you drop F-bombs now, apparently.
All right, I won't say an F-bomb, just as long as nobody clips any past clips of me and sends them to my work. We have a deal.
Yeah,
we have a
that
deal.
trims my podcast vocabulary by about in half. So that's
I only have like 4 words to use now instead of 5.
Right, exactly. We're gonna have to go the Sat way. Go his vocabulary from here on out, which works.
Golly G.
Give me that daggum riffing with Royer, Ryan.
All right, well,
admitted to being a caveman.
The rootin' tootin' riffing with Royer.
Can't beat it. It's a freaking good time, right?
Oh,
that's right.
Be careful.
There we go.
That's towing the line there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I think we kind of had a good segue with the Olympic talk. One of my questions is, what Olympic sport would you guys want to compete in most personally? What would you think would be the most fun? It doesn't have to be what you'd be the best at, but what would you like to do?
So this is dream world, right? Like hypothetical.
Yeah.
Like hypothetically, we'll be world class at it, like world class level at whatever it is.
And we're gonna have the physique, and we're gonna just be like, look at that guy.
Yeah. Or it could be for fun, whatever you want to go with it.
Yeah, running my 25-second 100-meter dash. Yeah, pretty fun.
I mean, in the old days, I was a track guy. So
yes, you were
track. But you know what I'd love to do? You know what I think? If it was something you enjoyed and you were good at, that would be awesome. It's really the only thing I like about the Winter Olympics is when they cross country ski with rifles on their back, and they just pull up, slide the rifle off, bang, 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 whoosh, right? Yeah. The skis are back on, and off they go. Like, those people are insane because they do that for hours and hours, and they're like, hour 8, here they are, still like, you watched it in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And then you woke up at 10 a.m. and they're still going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like a fever dream.
That would be a good like fantasy football punishment. You have to watch that, and you have to finish X amount of beers, and you can't fall asleep. Oh, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Oh man.
I'm in.
You have to drink a beer for every like so many kilometers finished.
Exactly.
Aaron, which one are you taking?
Man, it's a toss up for me because I feel like the ski, like with the ski long jump or the ski jump or whatever they call it, where you're just flying for like 300 feet or whatever. You're flying for a football field. Like, that's insane. You're just flying
like this.
I think
Like,
Yeah.
God,
I think
don't do that.
I
Don't
think
do
that-
that. Don't do that. You want to talk about getting demonetized?
you can't talk about flying.
No, I just.
Oh my
Oh,
right in the middle of Olympic talk, too.
Um,
Come on, Chad. Jeez.
Got to put
My
both
bad,
arms
man.
up.
didn't even realize what I was anyway.
There you
Either
go.
that or
Whee!
either that or what is it? The skeleton? Isn't that what they call it? Where it's like the
You guys are throwing out all
Burst
these winter
down the-
athletic things. We got
Yeah,
the
it's
summer
like- it's like-
athletic this
I mean,
summer.
in summer it's
I don't-
just swimming and running and basketball and
Right.
like
the summer's
these
got
are
like
Winter Olympics
thousands,
are creative.
thousands of different things.
they're just trying to kill themselves in all the different ways
Fencing.
during the Winter Olympics.
Right. Like, how do we, like, look, we can't compete with the Summer Olympics. All of these things are things you do in the summer. Nobody is out athleting in the winter. So they just made up a bunch of crap. Like skeleton, where it's bobsled, except face first with just
And all by
two
yourself,
tiny pieces of metal.
going so fast. Yeah, and
I would do the long jump
speed
and ski, but
skating,
just
you've got
take the
the-
skis off to get more distance, and then just see where I land to try to get the gold. Does that
I
count?
kind of like that idea.
I
Yeah,
mean, you know what happens when you don't have skis on when you land, right?
Big splat, right?
Big splat.
It's snow though. You'll be fine. It'll cushion you.
Geoffrey said he'll do curling.
yeah. That one guy who was the face of U.S. curling had that mustache and looked like one of us. You know, one of us. Let's see here. What would I do? Man, I
You're a
could be
power
like-
lifter. Come on, Brent.
I could
you
be
and-
the
you and
strongest
Eddie.
man in the world. I could be
You and Eddie Taylor, power
Yeah,
lifting.
me and Eddie T taking down all the weights. Have Nico be my personal trainer. I could be, the most flexible and acrobatic gymnast in the world. I could be the fastest person in the world. I could be, man. You're giving me a lot of options here.
It didn't say
But-
you'd be the best, just that you'd be able to compete.
Oh, well. In that case, handball. How about that? I'd love to. I think I could do pretty well in handball. Just throw me out there and let me get some goals, and all of a
Everybody
sudden,
thinks that until they're out there with a bunch of world-class handball players.
I saw Barstool Sports play. They're like, yeah, we were pretty good at it. So I think we'll see. We'll see. I think a little handball, maybe a triathlon. Just
Pretty good
to
is
see how long
probably
it
being
takes to
generous.
finish it. Yeah. Definitely not basketball, but it'd be fun to be on the U.S. team and just roam around with them on the basketball court. So
The open water swimming for the triathlon is what's a no for me.
yeah,
Like regular
lot of
swimming. I've done triathlons, but me and my dad used to do canoe triathlons. So instead of swimming, you would canoe for like 10, 15 miles, and then you would bike, and then you would run.
Yeah. Gosh, like
This
the
is-
Is that when you
90
looked like
yeah.
is that when you looked like this?
gosh,
yeah,
we have this
When everything
the
was skinny
picture
except for
readily
my
available.
giant head.
picture is just readily available. I believe that this
All
is
those
the
biscuit head
190.
trips. You had a biscuit head your whole life.
Hey now, he wanted to say, the biscuits are the size of a cat's head. No, it's the size of a Chad Brendel and a referee jersey head.
That's too much flour. Like you would go out of business if you made biscuits the size of Chad's head.
Right.
It's not
Exactly.
It's not good for business.
No, not one bit. How about that? Like the indoor speed cycling. Like that's some scary stuff, man. They're going real fast with those big old bikes. Like, man, that speed skating. Those skates are scary.
Yeah.
looking.
That's still one of my favorite Olympic moments ever. Do you remember when
Apollo
they were doing the
Antonona?
speed skating? No, they were doing the speed skating, and the person, like somebody, just took off like a bat out of hell.
Oh yeah, I saw that video recently. Yeah,
And they pulled up to the back, a lap ahead of everybody, and just like coasted in the back for the rest of the way. And then when they cross for the second to last time, when the bell goes off, everybody thought it was the sprint lap, the last lap. So they all sprinted, but they were still a lap away from finishing as that person just looked like they were in last, but they were really in first. It's great strategy.
I think it was a rookie from China or something. It was like her first year. And everyone, she took off. Everyone kind of like froze for a second, like started to go, but then stopped.
Yeah.
Good technique there.
Classic.
Just out there running around on swords. Just 2 swords strapped to their feet.
Swords.
Yeah.
How fast can you go on 2 swords?
Crazy. Good
All right,
question,
gentlemen.
Matt.
Next question. We're trying to keep it light and fun again. Favorite 4th of July activity?
Ooh.
Probably the cooking. I'm going to somebody else's 4th of July party this year, so I will not be the grill master. I'm bringing a side, and then I'm gonna let Darren take care of things.
You could still be the grill master.
So hard to pass over the tongs, man. It's like passing over the
walk
crown.
into somebody's house and be like, "This is my grill now."
Hey man, how you flip your burgers? Yeah. Oh, decent technique. Let me show you something. And then all of a sudden the grill's yours.
Just blow your way into it. You just, hey, I can show you something here, and then just
I got it. I've done this before, Aaron. You know how you actually do it is you come across as like, look, I'm going to help you out. It's your party. You hang out and party, and I'll take care of the grill. I'm doing you if I'm helping you out, and I'm going to take care of the grill so you can enjoy the party. Because I don't I've got a 13-year-old I'm driving around, so I'm not drinking. Mm-hmm. So I'll run the grill, and I'll probably try to, finagle my way into that responsibility at this party as well.
Yeah,
just get the host drunk.
Well, that's the thing. They like to drink. Like, you don't want to. I got you. Unless he does really it's one of the volleyball parents, and we've had a lot of cooking, just grilling and smoking and whatever discussion on the road. So I think he is going to want to do it. So my plan might not work this year.
Bring some new riff.
Right. Here you go. I think he's a beer guy for the most part.
3-finger pour and you'll be on the tongs in no time.
Bring a case of Cincy Light and just keep feeding them. Here you go.
Yeah. That'd be perfect. Aaron, what you got?
I like the fireworks. I don't care. We don't really get them really anytime outside of that, unless you're down at the Reds game on a Friday night, or for Labor Day, which Labor Day is amazing in Cincinnati. But I like fireworks. I think it's fun. I don't like to light them off because I do like my 10 fingers. But plus I like the professional ones that are bigger, louder, with a musical track assist and all of that. I think that's a lot of fun.
No pyro in your blood over there, Aaron. You don't.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd like to do it. I just like my fingers more.
Yeah, I'm with you.
My brother loves it. My brother he would set off fireworks at his house every day if he could. He loves it. I'm like, I'm gonna be up here, dog.
Tell him to try it. See how many days in a row they let him do it. Dad, I'm on day 13. They haven't came yet. We're all good.
He's gonna turn to that one dude who built the big bulldozer over fireworks. The FBI tries to come shut him down.
Yeah. Well, really, if you're smart, you could just get one of those big, it's got multiple shells. And you just get that from the fireworks store, and every day you just light off one of those. So every day
it's 9 o'clock again.
Larry, throw it in reverse, Larry.
Terry, not Larry.
Well, I was just throwing out Larry, maybe because it's Chad's brother. I'm trying to see
Nate dog.
Throw it reverse, Nate. Nate out there doing it again.
Dog.
recently I've been seeing all these like drinking games that are going on. The boys had the beer Olympics, and then of course Jason Kelsey and them had the beer games and whatnot. I enjoy little lake fun, a little beach fun, a little bit of games and this, that, and the other. I'm not massive into fireworks. I'm more the full day festivities type thing, and then when the night rolls around, you're just kind of whatever happens. But we do need to have a BCJ, some sort of a beer Olympics presented by Light, and
that would be epic.
Could be pretty fun. Have a little
I mean,
little tournament grid set up.
Is if Royer was in charge of getting everything organized, and he's never even gotten us a guest for this podcast. He's on the football team.
I keep forgetting about that.
He had like 240 teammates over his 5 years at Cincinnati, and he can't get us one guest for this podcast. We're going to let him run the Beer Olympics.
I mean, we could get a good cast out there. I think it'd be a pretty epic Saturday.
Yeah.
Get some.
The problem is we would have to air it after it was edited, because with the new YouTube rules, we would make no money on it.
Just bleep everything, yeah.
Within 15 seconds, it would be demonetized.
You're going to need black squares to cover up certain areas of the body. You're going to need bleeps for the.
No, we just have like an intro, and then we just have no sound the rest of the way.
If Ryan's in a sock, I'm out.
You don't need the black square with the sock. It makes it itself.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a black square. It's just like really, really hard to see. It's just like
yeah. Minuscule black square.
It's a very small rectangle.
Can't even tell it's there. It just looks like a bad pixel on the screen.
Pixel, right? Yeah, there's just one spot got pixelated.
Everyone's like poking at their TV, like trying to fix it. Like, what is that? Honey, we need a new TV. We need a new monitor.
Honey, there's a hyphen that will
fine.
not go away from this video. There's just a hyphen running around in this video. What is going on?
Before it starts, just like a pre-screen, like just text on it, like, warning, your TV is not broken. You're going to see this tiny pixel the whole time. Just don't worry about it.
Pixel goes away after game 3, which is head through fan. So
we had John Cunningham on this episode, guys. Like 20 minutes ago, John Cunningham.
That was a great one.
Dumbest moment ever on the BBP.
Brent, your joke just was great. That was a great one. I don't think they caught it. I caught that one.
Right.
That was very
good. The listeners will catch it too. Listeners, I mean, we got to give everyone just a good, fun little. They're driving to somewhere for the 4th, so they're gonna get John, who absolutely knocked it out of the park as always, and then they're gonna get some laughs, and then they're gonna get some mailbag, and then they're gonna get some fun. It's gonna help out on the trips, but yeah, I think July 4th is all about friends, fun, family, all the above. So I'm in it for the games, whether it be card games, whether it be drinking games, whether it be
friends, fun, family, and oh wait, they changed the YouTube guidelines. Never mind.
Yeah. you can insert there. Ryan, what's yours?
That was a callback.
It was.
I'm with you on that, Brent. I think it just like the day, get some country music on, just hanging out with friends and family, smell the grill going, drinking, playing a little games. It's the best. You can't beat it.
Oh, I
There's
know.
0% chance Ryan wears a single sleeve the entire weekend.
You have sleeves on now?
Yeah, we got it right there. I have to update my 4th wardrobe. I don't have any funny shirts or good grill shirts or stuff like that. I need to make a trip out to the thrift store or something, get some good clothing, but maybe that's what I'm going to do here before this Thursday comes up.
Phyllis is trying to pawn Bob off on us again from I think she's doing what our old friend Kathy used to do,
Wow.
where she's like 15 minutes behind. She's
Yeah.
watching something that happened 15 minutes ago. But Phil's trying to pawn Bob off on us for another trip. Which, look, if we're taking a trip, Bob's coming with us.
Yeah. And I was going to
Bob's
say,
coming with us.
low key, Bob would be kind of a tier 1 partner for the BCJ drinking game. So I think, yeah. Phyllis, yes, bring Bob, 100%.
Bob's a beast.
No, Phyllis wants to get rid of Bob. Like,
I know,
she likes visiting him with us.
I'm saying, bring him. We'll take him.
Freedom.
Golly,
that's what the fort's all about, baby. Freedom.
Hey, now.
However you want to spin it.
Markham. Hell yeah.
And they can't take that away. Anything else, Roy?
No, that was it.
Here we go. Man, golly. You know what? Sometimes the voice sounds better than you think it does, and that was not one of those times. So
that was not one of those times.
No, not at all. I knew it kind of right away. So yeah, well, let's go ahead and timestamp this, and then we'll touch a tiny bit on the basketball schedule and the new additions to the staff, and then we'll roll into the mailbag.
Oh yeah, I was at workouts again today. Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, products like to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick, 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
If you want to hear, go ahead, Aaron.
Chad going or not going to basketball practices has become my new favorite thing about this entire show.
We hit him at a good time tonight, though.
I can't wait until next week when you're ready for it. Like, you went to practice? No, I didn't go. And I had all these questions.
You know, this is actually perfect timing because we've got a good chunk of time that we can use up. Because I will now say, if you want to hear discussions on the BCJ platform about the releasing of the home and away opponents and the home and home opponents, then
look at him pivot.
You can listen to a previous nightcap from a couple nights ago. Aaron and Chad dove into that fully, so that would be on that. And then they also recently touched on the new additions of both Bill Komar and Jalen Stowe coming back as an assistant to the basketball program.
I thought we were about to talk about those things, Brent.
Hey, you know what? Time is of the essence. Big additions, awesome, and it'll be fun to watch. So, Chad, you were at practice today, workouts, if you will.
I was at workouts. Yes, I was.
The Jalen Stowe news obviously hit. Was that like right before practice or?
Right around there.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw him last Monday on an elevator and gave him one of these.
You're back. I know
you're not here by accident. You're not just stopping by, buddy.
You're wearing a C-Paul on your shirt.
Right. That's been in the works for a week or so. Good to have Stowe back. Awesome dude.
Mm-hmm.
I've really enjoyed getting to know him since Wes and company got to town, and awesome to see him back in an expanded role. He has earned it.
He has. Wes said it's a rising name in the coaching landscape, and obviously the previous connection and kind of the ability to seamlessly not have to teach someone the culture and kind of just the ways that Wes goes about coaching is an extreme plus. So great to have Stowe back. And then obviously, Aaron, you kind of touched on it. Stowe just as a competitor, that's a dude that'll stick his neck out there for you. So a great addition onto the sidelines. But Bill Komar also added to the staff as the chief of staff, if you will. Obviously, a long history in the industry, knows what to do when it comes to certain behind the scenes activity, if you can say that. So couple of great stops that he had, one that we won't mention, but aside from that, another good addition to the staff, and one that will bring kind of that side of where you have someone in place where you can kind of just set it and forget it type ordeal, where you kind of understand he's going to be able to handle that role and he's going to know what to do, and you won't really have to focus too much of your extra energy onto kind of guiding him and telling him exactly what to do. So great additions to the staff, and as we kind of roll into what workouts looked like today, Chad, the whole staff is together and assembled. What was the plan of action today? I imagine they're going just today and tomorrow maybe, and then
they're going today, tomorrow, Wednesday.
Oh, okay. So
I don't think I'll be able to make. I think I'm going to try one of the two. I'm going to be at. I'm not sure exactly yet which one of the two. Yeah. But today, and we'll see if it continues. Last week was defense.
Yep.
And I was at 2 workouts last week. They spent almost exclusively all of their time working on just the basics of their defensive system and communication and the things that you want to, like, one of the benefits of having this time in the summer is that you can do stuff like spend 3 practices on defense so that you don't have to start from scratch when you get back in the fall. And you've already, you can maybe spend 1 day retouching on what you did last week to get everybody, back thinking the same thing. But ultimately, like, boom, you can hit the fast forward button a little bit down the road. This week looks like it's going to be transition offense, fast breaks, running, getting out and playing fast and attacking downhill, spacing the floor, attacking the rim,
dunks,
looking for shooters, dunks, threes, no mid range. So that was kind of the focus today. Probably not a big surprise, but Dylan Mitchell is really good on transition days.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Huh.
One of the best in the country in college basketball the past 2 seasons, by the way. So
seeing it in person, his ability to use his body, get an angle, get an advantage, like put himself in position to make a play is high level. And you can see that just in, an hour and 20 minutes or whatever that was today. I think it was an hour and 20 minutes of them, trying to get out and run. And when the ball finds his hands, he knows exactly where he's going with it. He knows how to be effective. And look, there were even a couple times today, it was like, oh, that looks like there's the Bearcats we know as the ball flies 14 feet that way, but not when Dylan Mitchell was on the floor.
Yeah. So I talk a little bit more about as far as, because Dylan Mitchell had an interview with Springer earlier that I was able to read some bits and pieces, right? Read some bits and pieces, and he kind of was saying that he thinks that this team could be the most athletic and most best transition team in the country, and in the past, it's been something that Wes has always wanted to do. The quick, easy baskets has been, something that he's talked about wanting to be able to get that flow and get that rhythm going. I kind of saw that at times this past season where, quick inbounds off of a make and trying to get that quick basket and things of that sort. Did Dylan Mitchell obviously jumps off the page, but do you kind of see just that overall team athleticism is kind of amped up a step with just kind of the additions of obviously the players that you AP being a bit of a step up, and then both of the freshmen kind of being a bit of a step up from what has been the past few seasons?
No, I think the biggest difference so far is spacing.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things one of the reasons that transition has been so difficult for this team is the spacing's not right. So everybody can just run to the rim and try to jam everything up and not really have to worry about kicking ahead straight to a guy that's standing in a spot, boom, and can knock down a shot. And when that happens, defense has to fan instead of collapsing as they're running back in transition. I think I noticed that more than anything. When you've got Tyler Betsy added to this and Connor Hickman added to this and CJ Frederick, who didn't play nearly enough last year, and Seamoss, who is shooting with incredible confidence. And then today, Jizzle was really, really good shooting the ball. Dan hit a couple threes. Dylan Mitchell hit a corner three, switched to corner three.
Wow.
So I think it feeds off of itself. If you have 2 or 3 guys that are really good at it, it kind of gets contagious for everybody else running and hunting those transition opportunities when you're open, which you will be if, look, Dante Thomas, he's just now congratulations to John Rothstein on picking up on what we talked about here a week ago. Dante being back full go in practice. He looks fast. I mean, he was flying by people today. Getting down the floor, and then Jizzle's fast, but it's different. He's not just jet blaring in to end Dante Thomas, but he's got that hesitation and the balance that kind of keeps people off guard in transition. And then Dan is really good at finishing in transition, and Dylan's really good in finishing transition, and everybody else is kind of working on fanning out. And what has made North Carolina great for so long, it's that secondary break. It's not necessarily the main break, but then you get the defense scrambling and trying to match back up. The fast break's done, boom, you run that secondary, you get an open shot, and it acts just like being on a fast break. So that's kind of some of the additional thoughts, and that speed though from Dante and Jizzle, that ability to beat people is going to be a big part of this too.
How were Connor Hickman's lobs? Those were talked about when he came to Cincinnati, and I want to hear. I just want shitty lobs to go away. I think we're still allowed to say that word.
Most of the lobs I've seen him throw have been very good. There wasn't a ton of them today because they were working more on like the play. Like when you get the ball out, like what is our look in transition? What lanes are we looking to fill? Where are we looking to fill behind at the 3-point line? But yeah, I mean, he so far, like for me, he's been, I don't think there's any day I've been there where he's been like the best guy, but it feels like he's always been the most consistent guy. He's not making turnovers. He's making shots. He's making plays at the rim. So he's been the most steady.
Phyllis's timing is so comedic on that.
I know. Love it.
But no, you also saw there was a video on Instagram that Hickman reposted on his story over the weekend where he threw down between the legs a little East Bay dunk off an alley-oop. So he's got some athleticism behind also his great shooting as well and overall play. So he probably fits into that ability to fill multiple gaps when it comes to a transition fast break. So that's
let's be honest.
I'm not gonna say he's gonna be like Russell Westbrook or anything, but
he's not filling the lane and like banging on people.
No, but if it's a 2-on-1 and he's one guy, he can take a pass and finish at the rim.
But his thing is understanding again.
Outside.
His thing is understanding it. He's going to do it more off the bounce.
Yeah.
And knowing how to finish, like the angles and how to absorb contact. I know. Look, Connor's got some bounce. I don't foresee him going up and banging on anybody in transition.
No,
I'm just saying.
But if he's got a fast break,
He'll put one down on a fast break. Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Just a little different than CJ, who might kind of flare out to the outside, kind of right away on the little 2-on-1s.
Yeah.
But so you said Jizzle knocked down a couple of shots. Is that a bit of, obviously it was probably a drill or running a play as you mentioned on the fast break, but do you think that sets up for kind of that 2-guard look with Jizzle and Day out there on the court at times together, or did you kind of see Jizzle as kind of that main lead guard with Day doing that also main lead guard role?
I mean, if CJ is healthy, a lot of those minutes at the 2 are going to be eaten up by Hickman and CJ.
Right.
Do I still think there will be, a stretch here or a stretch there that you'll see Day and Jizzle together? Yeah. If somebody gets hurt, then I think you'll see it a lot more. If there's an opportunity to play them together, I think that, you look at it. But I do think, man, Hickman and CJ just shoot it so well that you would like to have one of the two on the floor for spacing. And then now you've got 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And especially if Dan amps it up a little bit too. So Rayvon, I imagine a transition day would be a day where he kind of can flex his athleticism and show the work that he's put in.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, the thing about Ray, it's not about offense, Brent.
Right.
If he wants to play, he's going to have to be a dog.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to dirty it up. He's going to have to defend his ass off. He's going to have to rebound. He's going to have to do the hard work to really find his niche on this team. This team doesn't, and this isn't to say that they're going to be elite offensively or be one of the highest scoring teams in the country, but they've got offense. So if you're a bottom of the roster guy or a middle of that, not bottom, but outside of like those 7, 6, 7, 8 guys playing starter minutes, if you want to earn your way up the food chain, you got to do it with defense and rebounding and playing your ass off and earning those minutes through your work. And he was doing that. Now, keep in mind when they're doing transition stuff, there's opposition. Yeah. It's not just 5-on-0 running up and down the floor.
3-on-2.
And Ray did a lot of that. Ray, they had one. It was crazy. They had a guy at the top, like at the center court line, and he's got the ball, but he is the primary defender.
Okay.
There's 2 guys at the free throw line, and he throws the ball to one of them. And as soon as he lets go, the 2 guys on his team start sprinting from the baseline. So it's 2-on-1
with 2 coming from
2 guys coming from behind to catch up.
Wow.
And then if they get the stop, then it's 3-on-2 back the other way.
Yep.
So that was a fun drill to watch. But Ray did a good job kind of mucking it up and getting some stops and deflecting balls and kind of being that guy that, like I said, he's going to have to make it dirty if he's going to, figure his way into this rotation. And he's playing his ass off. He's working on it very hard.
You can tell he's been getting after it in the Monster Factory too, just by pictures that have been posted. So good on Mike getting the boys ready for show.
Spacing still looked good with AP as well as Aziz. Obviously, I'm assuming when you talk about spacing looking good.
So Aziz has been a little bit limited, just sore. I don't think it's anything major. He's been doing most of the stuff, but when they're doing the live, like full court stuff, Aziz hasn't been out there, but APs look fine. I think they are looking to, let's just say, I don't think practices at Southern California were super intense. You know,
I can imagine you'd probably be a little scared when you have somebody have a cardiac event and all of that.
no, but just in general, I'm talking about over a decade, not just what happened last year there. So I think there is some adjustment level to how hard you have to bring it every day, and the effort that's needed. But he's looked good, like physically, he's good. So yeah,
Good.
Any highlight dunk or highlight play, chase down block, that anything that really kind of stuck out to you above the rest, or maybe a couple?
Thursday, not today, but Thursday,
Okay,
Dylan
let's
Mitchell
do it.
had a nasty tip dunk off of a Jizzle James 3 from the corner that kind of jumps out. The ball kind of off the back rim and went straight out, and all of a sudden Mitchell just bang. And then your boy AP did have a chase down block today. I can't remember who. It might have been on Hickman, but somebody like they had gotten the ball out, and they could already, as they were driving, they could see AP like right there. And I think they kind of were like, this is inevitable. Go get it. Because he had it timed perfectly, like just stalking them all the way right to the rim.
We've heard a lot about, obviously, Tyler Betsy, who sticks out with his shooting. And, it's a one trait that can translate immediately at the next level. I haven't heard too much about McKinley. How has Tyler McKinley looked just adjusting to everything that, obviously working out with Mike Rayfelt, and then, of course, practicing with Wes and the staff? How's he looked in that, this is week 3 transitionally, as he gets ready for year 1?
Today, like, this is a good – last week is going to be rough on the young guys because you're spending it mostly on defense, and that there's so much learning that has to get done there that just you don't get taught in high school, because if you're the best player on the floor, they don't want you to defend. They want you to stay the hell away from people for the most part. He looked good today. Some good passing out of the high post. Some of that, there's always, not always, most of the time, when you see a big guy running down the floor and the ball in the air coming to that big guy, you're like, shit. Turnover, here we go.
Right.
McKinley he has really good hands.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a good job catching and then identifying the next, best path of action. He had a couple passes today, coming down the floor, catch it at the free throw line, and then move it to the guy back cutting on the opposite side. That are, you look at Tyler knows how to play basketball. And that's been the most evident with him. Still got to work on his conditioning, got to work on, really getting to that point where, if Tyler works his way into the rotation, you've got Aziz, you've got AP, and then Tyler is that third guy. Come in and give us 3-4 minutes of just playing your ass off. And
Yodi minute.
Well, I mean, last year was a little different with Vic because he wasn't playing a lot of the 5, but you had 3 guys, 3 bigs last year. But I don't anticipate, maybe outside of AP getting a little bit of time at the 4, I would think all 3 of those guys are going to be at the 5, but you're going to need them.
Yeah. As far as, last season, John kind of stepped up and positioned himself as the vocal leader on the court. Through workouts and practice, have you seen anyone step up, whether it be Dan or anyone be? It's kind of the workouts for now. Yeah. I mean, I just didn't know if someone's trying to guide the new youngsters and show them the ropes or anything like that.
Those things evolve. Like it's not. You don't. It's one of those you don't realize it's happened until it's happened.
Right.
Until that guy is in that driver's seat in June, and that's a work in progress still.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine Wes and the staff is pretty pumped up that they had all these returners though, who can kind of, probably
Yeah.
off the court, kind of give pointers and tell the newcomers kind of where hey, on that one play you were in the right spot, but look for this and that next time out there. So I don't know. I'm a little overly excited about next season. So this is a Monday nights are fun when Chad sprinkles it in an hour 20 in that he was at practice today. So it's always fun.
Yeah, don't stand up right now, Brent.
I'm not. Don't worry. I will not be. You need to bring out the hype in if that happens.
I used to tell you all the time, and then it kind of ruined the excitement of
Right.
like just dropping on you. Oh, by the way, I was at I gave an Easter egg in the beginning with Cunningham when I was like, oh, I've been on campus a little bit here and there.
Oh, well, just thought maybe you wanted to say hi to Stipe and others and pass it through.
Like, look,
Kelsey on her 15th unofficial.
Right.
I am deranged. I like going to practice.
Yeah.
Yes. Ryan knows. Like, how many times did you see me standing there at practice and you're like, he's here again? Doesn't he have anything better to do?
Biscuit head's back.
Good old Biscuit just hanging out. No, Chad's a real one, man. He's taking it in at all times. That's if you got to be there like during practice to really get a feel for the team, really get a feel for the players, especially during the off season. Because we're not like, if you're not there watching practice, like you're not going to know shit about, you're not going to know anything about what's going on. So and like that's when you're really seeing, like, we're always going to know like how like the big name guys are doing, but like you're never going to know who's up and coming, who's going to be good support off the bench, football or basketball, and what the future's like if you're not there grinding it through practice.
I don't know that Tyler Scott is a budding star unless I'm in practice every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know Jonathan Thompson from the day he walked onto campus was the guy that was going to make plays at linebacker unless I'm there all the time. Like that's, and you're right.
Probably knew Tyler Scott was a star before he knew himself.
I was calling it out long before it happened. Long 100%. Before it happened. Like
7-11.
You just see it. Always open.
Yeah. And
that was freshman year, wasn't it, Britt?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And
I
also,
Chad, I called him 7-11 his freshman year, Roy, or his redshirt year. Always open.
And also, you wouldn't have known that Wyatt Fisher would have caught a touchdown in his last collegiate football game as well.
Right. Exactly.
Come on. Knowledge.
So yeah, I love going in the summer. Like it is the best time. I don't really go to basketball practice during the season because but it's not practice. They're game prepping.
Yeah. Right.
And they're just going through, different sets and strategies and whatever. That doesn't do me as nearly as much good as getting to be there in the summer and to see what the development looks like and how guys are making progress.
So Dylan Mitchell is as advertised is what I'm gathering after your
so far. Yeah. Well, I mean, on a day that they ran fast break stuff all day, right. Yes,
that's what I meant.
That is his specialty.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
That is very much his specialty.
I dream of fast breaks with CMOS on one side and filling both wings, Dan and Dylan, and then just having maybe a spot up trailer and Hickman or CJ. I dream about it. So that's a thrilling ordeal to hear it happen today. Anything else, or should we hop in this mailbag?
Let's hop in the mailbag.
All right. Gosh, Chad. Thank you though, Chad.
I need out of breath.
Needed that.
Do you want me to just record a couple thoughts as they come to me and send them to you, and you can listen to them at night,
yes,
white noise?
$1,000,000%.
Cigarette.
Golly, I need a shower or something for sure. Go ahead.
I had a long talk with Hickman today about the hysterics happening in the town across the border.
Yeah, the whole IU thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Let those Hoosiers figure it
Well,
out.
not a super deep mailbag, but starting off in the football portion of the mailbag, as always. Ballpark, what does our NIL/spend look like annually for football? Any concerns in the department around continuing donor support for NIL? I believe it's still a small group doing most of the donations, and a lot of them diverted money committed to other projects towards NIL. Concerned they might be tapped out.
Nobody's going to give you an answer on what they're spending annually for football. I know in football they feel like there is still work to be done. Like they're not in a terrible place, but they're not in a place to get done whatever they feel like they need to get done, like without having to be crafty, thrifty, if you will. I don't have a lot right now. I don't have a lot of concerns on the NIL front because we're going to see this next phase of revenue sharing come into play. And I think that is going to change the landscape quite a bit. Will there still be NIL? Will there still be pay to play? Yes, but I think that field will be balanced some when everybody's kind of leaning on that 22% that's going to be funneled back into the athletes, especially on the football side, because you would have to imagine, that's where the biggest chunk of that is going to go. So there's work to be done. And they're not anywhere like near the top of the mountain where they need to be. But I don't think they're in a terrible position. I think they're just in a position where, you're still needing to be a little creative. You're still needing to lean on your ingenuity over just walking up with the biggest bank account and saying, everybody come with me.
All right. Do we know when fall camp starts?
I don't have a specific date. I think the first date it's allowed to start is August 3rd, something along those lines. 28 days from kickoff, the 1 month from kickoff. So that would be August 3rd. So somewhere in there.
Didn't they kind of play around with that a little bit last year where they had like an off
Midnight.
a couple off days or something? And so
yeah, I do think there's also a possibility with their situation because they go to higher ground.
I remember there was something like different or that they did or something
where they can get like a waiver to go like a couple days early,
right,
but then
right.
you still only get so many practices. Yeah.
All right. And Big 12 Media Day is almost here. What are your preseason Big 12 tier rankings?
Oh, wow.
Jeez. I don't know.
Chad, you can do the out of the hat thing.
No, I mean, I don't think you need to.
Can't do that for the Big 12, I don't think. I think AAC, that was an okay thing.
Well, the funny part about it was we knew the top two and we knew the bottom two, and everything else was just a jumbled mess, which is exactly how that season played out. So,
for reference, EA Sports released their top 25.
I know who won't be in this ranking. Texas and Oklahoma. We hardly knew yet.
For reference, EA Sports did release their top 25, and there were four teams from the Big 12.
Utah's going to be good. Kansas State's going to be good.
Colorado was in there. I don't know that they're top 25.
Absolutely.
Colorado was in there. I want to say it's probably because you have a cover athlete playing for Colorado that automatically jumps, and he plays both ways. I think that jumps their ranking. Iowa State was in there, and I don't recall the fourth off the top. Kansas, maybe.
Yeah, I think those are fair. Oklahoma State, I think, is still going to be good, but they lost a lot. But you still got your quarterback in Ollie Gordon, so they should figure that out. to an extent. I think Texas Tech is going to be good. West Virginia is going to be really interesting. Do they come back down to earth a little bit after a surprising year last year? Arizona should be good, but new coach. We'll see. Arizona State probably going to stink.
I already said okay.
Utah was 10. Colorado was 20. Kansas State 24. And Oklahoma State, 21. According to
Kansas is pretty much right in there too.
Yeah,
just on the outside.
Yeah, that one team that you took your unofficial visit to a couple weeks ago, Chad. I think they'll kind of be, right around there, maybe. Did he bounce out? Chad, come back.
Oh, my internet shorted out for a minute.
Dude, what was up with that? I was so mad, and then obviously it takes a while for it to reboot, and then of course I'm on a hotspot on my phone right now. I mean the internet's back, but I don't want to try hopping over, or else I'd probably lose you guys again. So,
all right, that is the end of the.
We will get into
full tier
of Big 12 stuff as we go through July and August.
Once we know a little bit more about everybody too.
K-State, Oklahoma State, Utah. I mean, Texas Tech was obviously the darling last year, but
I think they're going to be good still.
Yeah.
I don't know about great, but good.
It is a weird kind of crapshoot league because you had the guy on the BCJ pod from K-State, and he said he filled out his preseason rankings one time and it was just completely wrong. Everyone was completely flipped, and that kind of could be how it is. I mean, you obviously want to see, it's every single year, but I mean, you want to see that also means that there's opportunities for teams to kind of butt their way up to that top tier. So let's hope the Bearcats are.
Uh-oh. Beep boop bop bop bop.
Brent's hanging on by a thread here. All right, that ends the football portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the basketball portion of the mailbag. What is more likely to happen based upon current impressions / status of the basketball and football programs? Wes and crew winning a combined 26 games, including Big 12 tourney and dance. Football team going 8-4 with a middle of the pack Big 12 regular season finish and a mid-tier bowl game. Or 3, which program is more likely to have a potentially shocking positive or negative result? Example, football team going 3-9 again, or 9-3. Hoops team going 19-12 and missing the dance, or going 28-3 and garnering a 1 seed. It's a lot.
28-3 is not happening in this league, boys and girls.
For anyone.
I got the 26 wins for hoops.
So they had 22 last year, and that included 2 wins in the Big 12 tournament and 2 wins in the
definitely
NIT.
Yes.
So they were at 18 going in. They got to 22. I mean, I think you need at least 10 wins in the conference. Out of conference, you have 11 games, 9 or 10 wins there. So if you have 10 wins in the conference, hopefully it's more. You would like to think with the way, especially preseason wise, the schedule played out and what the expectations are preseason. Right. You have a schedule where you have some winnable road games in this league, which feels rare. But let's say, unfortunately, the problem is the league's so tough. Like you could say 21, 22 wins, which is really good and probably a team wearing white in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And you still need to get to 26, which is 4 or 5 more wins, a couple in the Big 12 tournament. But if you finish higher up, you play less games.
And especially if you get that double bye in the Big 12 tournament or even the single bye, you're playing a tough team in that first round matchup that you would have. You know, it would
26
you're
is going
playing
to be hard in basketball.
you're playing a tournament team pretty much in that first round matchup. So,
I'm
still
going to
taking
go with
26.
that one. Yeah, I'm probably going to go with
Yeah.
that one, but 26 in this landscape is a lot of games to win.
Yeah, it is, especially with the 20 game schedule for the Big 12.
Right.
So you're losing out on 2 additional, probably kind of easier wins. So, but I still think, man, I'm probably too bullish on the basketball team. But yeah, 26 wins. Let's fire it up. Aaron, which one are you rolling with?
I think we're all at 26 games as opposed to 8-4 is not impossible, but that is a daunting task for a team that is still figuring things out from last season.
And has their best player dealing with
blood clots.
Yeah. I would also say that it's, but if you rank these, 1 likely, 2 likely, 3 likely, I think it would be in the order that Killer V put it, because I just don't see either program like completely tanking and having a horrible season.
Right.
So, yeah.
I agree. Hypothetically, since it's the off season, where do you think Isaiah Collier gets drafted if he picks UC instead of USC?
Brent, go ahead.
Oh man. Man. I think he gets drafted higher. But like, I mean, would he have the same injury issues that he had at USC at UC? Would it be, or would he be completely healthy the whole entire season? I don't know. One thing I did like seeing all the a lot of the highlight packages. Some of them that I saw were of his high school days, and literally every single pass that he had was to AP, and AP was flushing it down on the other end. So that part I really like to see. I don't know. Sure. I think he'd be drafted higher than where he was drafted. Let's just agree. Yes.
29th pick is pretty low.
Yeah. I just think it better situation. Obviously the whole trickle effect of, I don't know. I don't want to go into that la la land right now. Congrats to Isaiah Collier. Wish you best of luck at the next level. But we got Jizzle James and Day Thomas. We're running it back, baby, and that's all I care about. But yes, I think he'd be drafted higher. There you go.
I think it would probably be about the same. His issues were going to be his issues. He turned it over too much. That carried over into college.
Ended up not being as tall as everyone thought he was, I guess.
Yeah, he was never. That always cracked me up because he was never.
When people say he was like 6'5", yeah, I was like,
yeah, he was never 6'5".
Yeah,
I think it probably would have been in the same general vicinity. The hardest part, like, here's where the kind of the system did Collier wrong, is he was in a class that just wasn't very good, and he kind of ended up being number 1 by default a little bit at times, because there wasn't a group of 2 or 3 guys that had separated themselves from the pack. Right. And he was so much more physically mature, upper body strength, his ability to take contact at the rim. Like, when he's playing against younger guys, he had a decided advantage. Yeah. And that's what showed up in high school and in AAU. And then when you get to college, guess what? That advantage goes away, because you're playing against guys that have been in high-level college strength and conditioning programs for years. And the game got older. The game got a lot more physically mature from where he was previously. And you think that wasn't going to be the case in the Big 12?
Right.
Like, that there weren't still going to be guards that were more physically ready for the rigors of college basketball. So I mean, he was never a guy that shot it really well.
Right.
He had turnover issues, and he never really had to defend. So those are the three things really in the NBA: take care of the ball, shoot the three, play defense. If you're not great at those things as a college freshman, your stock in the NBA is going to dip. Now, is there a chance Wes could have done a better job helping out, like alleviate some of those concerns? Potentially, sure. But, that we'll never know.
Yeah, it is fascinating to go back and look at that 2024 class. It's like, I mean, that 2023 class.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's like Wagner's back in college. Edwards was a second round draft pick, I think. Stephon Castle, I guess, hopefully good. I mean, Reed Shepherd was the first, ex high school player that went to the college level to get drafted. He was a 4-star. I mean, it's just. It's interesting. Cody Williams, does he end up, filling out to be the potential that some people think he will be? It's just like, out of that top 10, Ron Holland went the, pro route, obviously, and how's he going to shape up in the next level? It's an interesting class.
Bad class. It's a bad class.
Yeah.
All right. Fun conversation there. What are your thoughts on the new Big East TV deal? How do you think this might impact the market for the Big 12, potentially splitting off their basketball rights from football in the next TV deal?
I think it's a good sign if you still have football to do the other half, right? Like, if you told the Big East basketball schools you're all going to get, $7 million just for your basketball programs, I think everybody would be pretty happy. When you don't have football, that $7 million has to carry your entire athletic department, and it makes things tough on the Big East, especially when you factor in revenue sharing. So yeah, they got an increase, but that increase is going to take a big hit because of the revenue sharing, and there's not a lot of buffer. They're not sharing 22% of 50, 60, 70 million. They're sharing 22% of 7-8 million. And that cuts into a lot of funding for a lot of other things that, it's going to be fascinating to see how the leagues without football, especially the Big East, are able to navigate this. And you notice nobody's talking about this in terms of how much each school is getting per year per school in the media leaks that we're seeing. You know why nobody's talking about that? Because the number is not going to wow you. Because people are used to seeing 50, 60, 70, 80, Big 10, Big 12, or Big 10 SEC, 80, 90, 100 million in their projected windows that this covers for the Big East. And the Big East is talking about 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that range. I think they still will be able to keep their head above water. I don't think it, signals impending doom, but I think it does let you know, man, the landscape is changing, and without football, it makes it tough for your athletic department to navigate how the revenue is going to be distributed and how it's going to be, properly distributed to be able to still keep up. And in a world where, some of these SEC schools and the Big 10 schools, like, they're going to spend money on basketball just because they've got so much of it.
Money, yeah, right,
yeah.
It will be interesting to see, though, because your mark obviously has talked about a bunch how the Big 12 is a powerhouse basketball conference. So I'll be interested to see if he tries to pipe in a little bit more on that side of things as well. But yeah, I mean, football's king, and clearly everyone knows that. So numbers will always be higher on the football side. Aaron, this is your cup of tea right here. What you got?
So I think that what's actually going to impact the market for the Big 12 more than any of this is actually going to be what happens with the ACC. And if FSU and Clemson are able to get out of the ACC, if North Carolina and Virginia get out of the ACC and the ACC has to scramble to try and figure out what they're doing, I don't know that they're going to have the must-watch games that the ACC once upon a time had. And I think that that's going to be, truthfully, what impacts the market for the Big 12 in that direction that we all want to see it go, probably more so than anything going on currently with the Big East. And just the dominoes that fall from the dismantling of the ACC will be fascinating.
College sports.
There's a lot of people that think it's bubbling.
There's people speculating that it's going to be that bubble might pop sometime in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For
fun.
reference there, I think I read somewhere 33 teams since Texas and Oklahoma said they were joining the SEC. 33 teams have changed conferences since that announcement.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
insane.
Our guy Brian Henley said, I think a month ago, that he expected this all to go down in July from the Big 12 Insider Show. And I was like, that seems awful. Seems awful soon. And he was like, I'm just it's just what is going around. And I think it could go down by then. It's like, damn. So here we are. Somebody today posted something cryptic. I think it was Josh Pate from 24/7 posted something cryptic that something the end times were bubbling for the ACC.
And that's going to move the needle way more than any Big East basketball deal.
Yeah.
That is the end of the basketball portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the banks portion of the mailbag. Our last bit here. Still no skins.
Can we
skins?
Right. Can we like call
RIP
it
skins.
The banks portion of the mailbag brought to you by Skins and see maybe if that might bring him back?
No.
Like a little love.
He didn't give us any warning.
He
He didn't give us any warning. He just
all that time trying to
vanished.
off me and
a little love to the boy, a little love to Skins, maybe.
No.
What kind of July 4th celebrator are you? Feet up, sipping a beverage, watching the fireworks from a safe distance, or right in the mix, this close to blowing your fingers off?
Royer's a blow your fingers off guy for sure.
Yeah, I like getting up in the mix.
For sure.
How did you guess?
Those bottle rocket wars where you kind of just
want to know why they call it a 3-finger pour? It's because 3 of your fingers get blown off into your glass. And you still got to finish your drink.
Yum, yum, yum. The JPP special right there, man.
You ever tried an iron chaser?
Let's hear it.
Oh,
so you just cut your palm open after a shot and lick it?
I'll try it. I'll try it this weekend.
You pair that with a frisbee chug and your money.
Oh,
we don't even have to say fuck to get demonetized.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
In the wee hours of the show.
I see you testing the waters. I know what you're doing. Oh, God. I'd like to sip the beverage and watch the fireworks. There's too many kids around here.
I'm definitely
too many kids around here.
I'm definitely feet up.
And I don't need a lighter and a wick anywhere near me. I'm good.
And like what Aaron said, I'm gonna go somewhere where they're letting them off.
Because
I'm not like
nice musical background.
Yeah. I mean, because you know what, they do it better than what I can do with little bottle rockets and some mortars or whatever you call them. I mean, 100%. It's just I used to live on a lake back in back in the day, and we.
I used to live on a lake back in the day.
Just stop and we just we got a little bit too
cheerio,
little too slap happy with the M80s and we just were like, it was bad. We were like because like they were the waterproof ones, so we would like put them in our hands underwater and see like who would hold on to it the longest, and then like go. It was bad. It was, so yeah. So after that, I decided no more of hanging around these fireworks and things like that. So
What is wrong with you?
it was young, dumb, fun, But peace out, Phyllis. But
Bye, Phyllis.
but yeah, definitely feet up, good music, watching a little fireworks show. Great little.
Not Royer's version of a 3-finger pour that apparently just includes 3 actual fingers in your glass of bourbon. I'm out.
Yeah.
The pour sounds like what's actually leaking from your fingers where they used to be.
I'm good.
4th of July barbecue. What are you cooking?
Go ahead.
Burgers and dogs, baby.
Burgers and dogs.
Baby.
I
Burgers
think
and
like
dogs.
we've had this conversation. I think you can do that on Labor Day, but 4th of July is burgers and dogs. America. Like,
yeah.
nobody, you don't have a smoked pork shoulder. You don't have ribs. You don't have a brisket. Burgers and dogs.
Burgers and dogs.
Just a big old tray.
Maybe a
burgers
brat. Maybe a brat,
Well, that's dogs.
That's
like
dogs.
it's a variation of dogs. It's a sausage.
Okay.
Pasta salad, potato chips,
A little coleslaw. Little
Sure. Any of the salads that you want, really. And
mac and cheese, a little watermelon. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lock
And it's
it
supposed
in.
to be roasting hot.
Yeah.
Thursday.
everybody's there for the burgers and dogs.
Is Thursday just the perfect day for a holiday to fall on, or what?
No,
I mean, it's like,
I have to do radio Friday.
oh well, I mean, you do, but like in my industry, no one's doing anything on Friday, so it's like okay, this is, and people are gonna duck out early on Wednesday, so we got like a 5-day weekend pretty much coming up. Well, insane.
Since I can't say it,
Yeah.
I'm really testing
saw
the
it.
limits, Aaron.
That's the
saw it.
mailbag. Get us out
Well,
of here, Brent.
No, well, who's gonna win the glizzy eating contest this year? No, Joey Chestnut.
I have no idea
Oh,
who's in it if
okay.
Joey Chestnut's not in it.
Right. Yeah. And
No one
no
interacts.
Kobayashi either.
We're all waiting. We're all waiting for the Joey Chestnut Kobayashi one-on-one on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe that? What is it? It's
Yes.
in August or something. It's like,
Yeah.
that's way down
Perfect.
the line. Yeah.
No one's watching Nathan. No one's watching Nathan's hot dog eating contest this year. You did it to yourselves. Don't make people sign an exclusive contract. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Well, hey, happy 4th of July to all you guys. All you beautiful BCJ family. We love you all. Happy 4th. Go live it up. All the above. It's all great. Shouts to athletic director John Cunningham coming on, giving us an hour of his time. Just a class act, great guy. And shouts to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Go hit up Danco Joe before you go on your road trip this upcoming week. And then, of course, shouts to my guys, my pals, the crew, the squad, New Riff as well, and also Quick Paper Supply for the timestamps. I love riffing with Royer, and it was a great one this week. And Royer just really brightens up my day. But for my guys, the pals, the crew, everyone involved, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer, I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.